Hello, welcome to my studio. My name is Danica Thurber. I'm the owner and founder of Project Grief together with my wonderful husband. We're an online school that teaches art as a tool for grief recovery. I'm super glad that you're here joining me today. I have a really great activity planned that's simple and approachable for anyone, regardless of art experience. So I can't wait to have you join me. So I want to extend a special shout out to Lisa Price's group, Better Not Bitter, to all the brave parents who are going through both grief and quarantine, possibly caring for other children in the home. Gosh, I have so much respect for you. What you're going through is not easy, and it's okay to struggle. And so I hope today's activity can be an encouragement to you, can give you a tool that can really help you care for yourself and find some healthy ways to cope and express what you're feeling, while at the same time enabling you to move forward and to be a better you for those who are around you. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that for yourself and for the people around you. So I'm honored to be here with you. So if you would take a second to comment where you're at and if you're quarantined, put it in the comments below. I'm super interested where we're all at this point. I'm coming here from Boise, Idaho, and we've had a stay-at-home order for a little bit, but we also had an earthquake this week, a pretty big one. So times are kind of crazy. So grief art is something that's very special to my heart. I'm a fine artist, so I paint. And fine art is all about the final product, the quality of it, and how it ends up, how much people value it. So if there's any fine artists out here, would you comment below? I'd love to see. Yeah, even if you're a working artist or an amateur artist, do you do fine art? So there's another type of art though, it's called grief art. And in contrast to fine art, which is all about the final product, grief art is about the process. So it's all about the things you go through before you end up at the final product. And if what we end up with after grief art ends up being ugly or messy, great job. You have just accurately expressed what grief looks like and what it feels like. So don't be afraid to try something new today. Don't be afraid to let it be ugly or messy. We're going to do this the best we can, and I'll lead you through, so don't worry. So today we'll use very basic supplies, just something to write with and something to write on. I'll show you a couple of examples so you can grab whatever you have around the house. I really believe you don't need anything special to be able to use art as a tool for our self-care and grief recovery. For something to write on, I have lined notebook paper. I'll use today just a sheet of blank printer paper. If you have some art supplies around, you can use a page in your sketchbook or your journal. Anything really works. You can use a piece of scrap paper as well, just from the recycling. Nothing fancy. For something to write with, you can use just ballpoint pen, a little highlighter for some color if you need it. Or if you have art supplies, you're welcome to use colored pencil, pastels, markers. Maybe some of you are moms, and so you can borrow your kids, markers and crayons. I really do suggest combining as well. Use a pen and crayon to start to kind of tap into that childlike looseness and creativity. We'll be doing a little bit of scribbles, so that'll provide great kinesthetic release if you're using some crayon. Today I'm going to use a marker so that it's more visible on the screen, but you can use whatever you want. So take a minute and clear off your space. Maybe close the door so you have some space sound-wise. Maybe turn off your phone and silence it. This gives you space to think and process just for a little while. We'll get started on our project. So go ahead and get those things prepared. And to start, we'll just draw basically a plus sign, dividing your page in half and then in half again. I'll pause here so you can get it. You can see my lines aren't straight, so don't get caught up on that. So we'll begin by drawing a heart. And this heart should fill at least a good part of the box. Our hearts are really hurting right now, you know? So that's why I decided to do hearts for this activity. Draw a second heart here, filling most of the box. And a third heart. In this last box, I'll have you draw a smaller heart. You'll understand why near the end. We'll go small and stick it more towards the bottom. So go ahead and take some time to draw those hearts. Again, they don't have to be perfect. Our hearts aren't perfect. They're perfectly beautiful in their imperfections. Once you've gotten that, I want you to begin to tap into your reflection skills. So let's take a deep breath first. Maybe you set your pen or whatever down. Just breathe. Close your eyes if you need to. We're going to be asking ourselves questions. We're going to be identifying our emotions and our thoughts. In order to do this, we have to begin by letting ourselves feel. And in your case, you might need to give yourself permission to feel. Maybe you've been just trying to hold it all together. This is not the time to just hold it all together. But if you feel stuck in your emotions, we'll be working through that. Just a deep breath. All right. Go ahead and pick up your pen. So from here, what we're going to do is begin to reflect on what we have lost, but mostly what we have missed out on. So I know a lot of you are grieving parents. Your loss is a little bit different because you're not losing what was, but what could have been. And so I want you to write those things down in your heart. What could have been? You can follow along with my prompts or start to tune me out and just write your own what could have been. Getting to know you. I lost my dad when I was 12, and I only have childlike memories of him. So what I lost out on was getting to know him. What else can you think of? Seeing you grow. What did you lose out on? I think with coronavirus, all this quarantine, I'm losing out on other things that are kind of combining with my grief. So I'm losing out on getting to celebrate. I have a birthday coming up, and it's definitely not the birthday that I imagined. My plans, losing out on my security, financial and otherwise. What else can you think of? Go ahead and fill it in. What hopes or dreams or plans do you not get to see? So next, this part, writing it down, that was a logic release. What we're going to do is a kinesthetic release, and it looks like this. It's very fancy. Ready? Kinesthetic means movement. Scribble it out as much as you want. These were the things that we were looking forward to. And when loss happened, when quarantine happened, this is what it did to our hearts. Felt like we were destroyed, didn't it? This is a kinesthetic release. And as you scribble, notice what you feel. And I want you to identify 3 emotions, okay? Just 3. Just limit yourself. For me, as I was coming up with this, I identified 3 emotions, and I'm gonna write them in the middle of the hearts, and you can too. So for me, I identified anger. When I see this, I feel sadness. And the third emotion, it was hard to pinpoint, but for me, I wrote confusion. Whatever emotions you feel, go ahead and write those on your hearts. Just pick 3. You can use mine to identify with them or come up with your own. All right, in this next heart, what we're going to do is write questions or specific instances in your heart that these emotions bring up. So questions, for anger, I think why me has always been kind of an underlying question. Why now? Why them? A lot of those whys, I realize logically will never get answered, but I still feel these whys emotionally. So write those in your heart. What other questions or instances are brought up? Anger. Gosh, sometimes I just feel a little petty right now, Everyone else gets to celebrate my birthday, or a birthday, but not me, I had to be born in April in the quarantine. So I laugh, but I don't know. There's a little bit of anger in it. It might be petty, but that's what I feel, and that's okay. Everyone else gets to celebrate. Makes me a little angry, Everything's closed. Where do you feel anger? Where do you feel that emotion? If you have a different emotion, where do you feel it? I think, I'm a person of faith, and so a lot of my questions or anger has also been directed towards God. Does God see? Does he care? It's a very common thing to ask. Some anger might be directed towards those who are with you right now in quarantine. Their behavior is making you angry. Their stress, maybe their own anger is influencing your anger. Maybe the circumstances of your loss still make you angry when you think about it. This shouldn't have been. Write those things down. I'll give you a second. Once you're done brainstorming those questions or instances that are brought up by this emotion, go ahead and kinesthetic release. However you want, there's no way to do it. All right, this third heart, this is another emotion you've identified, and I want you to say why you feel that way. So for sadness, I'm going to write, I'm sad that, and fill it in. Maybe it's anxiousness. I'm anxious that, what are you anxious about? Maybe it's fear. I'm afraid that, fill it in. So for sadness, I'm going to write, I'm sad that I really have no control over, my losses, over what happens in the world. I'm sad that people are hurting all around me. I feel sad that I'm missing my friends. I feel sad that I can't help. Maybe connected to your loss, that you feel sad that I couldn't do anything to stop it. Or I wasn't there to stop it, to be able to help. Maybe you feel sad that people weren't there for you. Feel sad that you felt alone. Go ahead and identify those. When you're ready, kinesthetic release. Now I noticed when I was preparing this activity that my scribbles kind of changed as I went on. This one, as you can see, it's a little more circular. It's like some angry got out here, and my kinesthetic release kind of changed. Notice that for you. Maybe your release is the same. Maybe it's changed. Once you've done that release, I'm going to let you kind of sit in that emotion, whatever it is, and I'm going to read you a poem. So go ahead and close your eyes and just let these words wash over you. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can look at what you've drawn. If you have some tears, that's okay. That's what this is about. This is a time when you don't have to hold it together. All right, I'll go ahead and read. I'm the one with the smile on their face. That smile is hiding a lot of pain, a lot of tears, a lot of fears. My slumping body, here, notice your posture. My slumping body is telling you how miserable it feels. I can look or feel so fragile, but I have to be strong. Strong because I'm smiling. Strong because I'm still here, even though I want to disappear. The truth? I'm broken. I need to heal. I need to ask for help. Need to be myself. Get to know myself. Create myself. There is a story behind my smile. A story with loss, pain, tears, and fears. Most of the time, that smile is fake. I say that I'm fine, but I'm not. That poem continues, but we'll continue in the next step. Let yourself feel your feelings. If it feels uncomfortable, that's okay. This is really what our hearts look like. No wonder they're uncomfortable. All right, listen to one more stanza, and we'll get going. I want to be saved. I want to save myself. I'm scared, but I want to heal. So in this last part, this last heart, go ahead and write down whatever remaining thoughts and emotions you feel. So you have at least the one here. I have confusion written down. What else do you feel? When will this be over? That's what I feel. Will it all be okay? Will I be okay? Maybe a little bit of anxiousness. Whatever else you feel, just write it down. All the remaining things that didn't get out before. Or maybe new things that were brought up from the process. You're being so brave and expressing these things. This is wonderful. All right. Let's kinesthetic release. Notice how the release has changed. I hope by now it has, but if it hasn't, that's okay. That's where you're at. I know mine kind of turned into a little ball over here around. I'll read another stanza of our poem. There is some hope deep inside me, buried with sadness, but it's still there because I'm still here. That hope will help me someday, somehow. Heart, I'll show you how. Ready? Let's learn how. Draw with me. Draw one line up, maybe another, mirroring it. Another kind of teardrop shape up here. Little squiggle. Following? You got it? You got this. And a line here, and a line here. Maybe you can see what we're beginning to draw. And another teardrop shape. lines, another teardrop shape, lines. Do you see it? It's a flower. It's a budding flower. Not quite yet opened. I like to continue this actually and continue this line down and into the heart and add some roots. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Yours will look different than mine because your heart's different than mine. That's okay. Now what we've done is actually bring that hope outside of us, outside of our hurting hearts, and imagined what is to come. Out of this hurt will not be wasted. This time of loss, this time of quarantine will not be wasted. There will be something that will grow from it. And that doesn't take away from the pain or the loss or the things we hoped for. It actually legitimizes them because it produces something beautiful out of what seemed lost and hopeless. And this, I like to call it a seed, this little heart. It's been broken, right? In order for a seed to grow, it needs to be broken. It needs to be fully changed. And out of that broken casket of a seed comes that plant as it grows up. This seed and this flower, they're fully different from one another. But this flower would not exist without this. You and your future self and your growth and your healing would not exist without this pain, this loss. You are fully changed by it. You are fully sourced by it. And one day, this flower, it'll grow up, it'll be able to produce another seed. You'll be able to help someone else through this. And that doesn't mean that you went through your loss because you needed to help someone else, but it means that this loss was not wasted. So let's think about the thriving of this flower that is growing out of you. What does it need? Honestly, a lot of plants, when they're small, they need this thing. Can you draw it along with me? Hopefully you can recognize what it is. It's a stake right there. This flower that's growing, it needs support. I drew a little line tying it to it. This flower needs support. Go ahead and write support on your page. Where can you find support? This is our application time. The support you need in order to grow, where does that come from? Maybe it comes from a spouse, maybe a friend, a counselor. Ooh, can't spell counselor. Maybe a coach. Maybe an online group. Where can you find support right now? This flower, that getting support doesn't mean that that flower is weak or that it's not destined to bloom. It just needs a little bit of help in order to thrive. What else does this flower need? It needs rain. Go ahead and draw rain if you want. You can draw it like this. Rain is the expression of your grief. For many of us, that means giving ourselves time to journal, giving ourselves time to cry, time to talk it out. What are ways you can express your grief? Write down at least one. This flower needs rain in order to grow. The last thing we need as flowers is sun. The sun represents joy. What brings you joy? For me, it's sunshine walks. Time playing games, my family. Needs friend time. For me, art time, just making something, even if it doesn't turn out or I never show it, just the art of making something. What brings you joy? Go ahead and write that down. When you're done, select one thing from each category, if you have more than one thing, that you want to do today or this week. What's one support you can get today or this week? I'm going to contact my counselor. What's one way I can express this week? Definitely journaling for me. What's one thing I can do of joy? Art time. These 3 have become your to-do list for this week. They're very simple and small, but doing those is one way you can influence this plant as it grows. One way you can support it, be kind to it, help it grow. So we're going to close by reading the poem again in its entirety, as well as its ending. What I want you to do is close your eyes or look at your drawing and picture your heart as something apart from you, as a living, breathing thing. Maybe this plant, maybe it looks fragile, maybe it needs care. Picture how you see your son or daughter or friend. When they're hurting, you treat them with the utmost care. Picture yourself apart from you, that hurting self that deserves the utmost care. That's how I'm going to read this poem. It's yourself you're talking to. The girl with the smile on her face, that smile is hiding a lot of pain, a lot of tears, a lot of fears. Her slumping body is telling you how miserable she feels. She can look so fragile, but she has to be strong. Strong because she is smiling. Strong because she is still here, even though she wants to disappear. This girl is broken and needs to heal, needs to ask for help, needs to be herself, get to know herself, create herself. There is a story behind that smile. A story with loss, pain, tears, and fears. Most of the time, that smile is fake. She says that she's fine, but she is not. This girl wants to be saved. This girl wants to save herself. This girl is scared, but she wants to heal. There is some hope deep inside her, buried with sadness, but it's still there because she is still here. That hope will help her someday, somehow. So you, her friend of yourself, right? So you, her friend, give her the support she needs. That support right here. Give her a hug. Let her cry. And to you, my friend, wherever you're at, in your home, in your office, maybe in a closet sheltered from your kids right now, I tell you, this is the last of the poem. Accept the help. Accept the hugs. Accept the change. Everything will indeed be all right, but only if you decide to fight. Fight your fears by showing the tears. I'll repeat that again. Fight your fears by showing the tears. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I am super excited to see how it turned out. So if you made something or had like a breakthrough or anything you want to share with me, I would love, love, love to see it. My Instagram is Project Grief Art. So if you find me, Project Grief Art, private message me and send me a picture. You can find me at Facebook as well at projectgrief.org on Facebook. And my email is support@projectgrief.org. So any way of those, you can send me a picture, your feedback, your thoughts and breakthroughs, even struggles. I'd be happy to help as much as I can. I have a free course that I'm offering right now. That's another introduction into art as a tool for grief recovery. It's all about helping you understand where you're at in your grief process and beginning to build a sense of what could be as I move forward. Maybe you've already been working on your grief for a while. Maybe you're in Lisa's group and continuing on. So this is an additional tool in your tool belt to help you find success in your journey. Not many of us can survive doing grief alone. I think we're built for community and for each other. And so I hope to offer that to you as a tool in your tool belt to help you on your own grief journey. So that's the free course is called Grief Art 101. And no, you don't have to be an artist. We already know that. I love working with beginners. So I'll put a link to that or I'll give Lisa a link to that. She can share that with you. And I also want to invite you to Lisa's Bereaved Mother's Day event. It's on May 3rd, and you do have to RSVP. She'll share the links with you as well, but I'm going to be one of the presenters there. I'll be sharing another art project and activity together, and I think it's just going to be such a wonderful time to find community with your fellow bereaved parents, and yeah, just what a wonderful way to use your time to be able to bond with people not only where you're at, but all over the world. So I want to invite you to that as well. So Lisa will share that with you. I'm so excited to meet you guys, and I'm just honored to be a part of this. So great job today, and I'll see you online. Bye.